It's a really nice Sunday. The wind's blowing. I've got windows open in the house. Just a really, really great day. Now, today's message is something that we don't probably like to talk about. And it is going to be something that might be a little bit difficult for some of you to hear. You know, since we've been in kind of isolation and quarantine for almost 6 months, sometimes longer than 6 months now, you know, one of the things that I've been talking about recently with a lot of people is the effect that this isolation is taking on our mental being, on our mental health. And, you know, I've said quite often that we are not meant to be isolated. We are not meant to be in segregated places where we're not around people. That's just not what human beings are built for. We are actually meant to be together. We're a social creature. And so I've often kind of wondered how this pandemic is going to impact our mental health. And part of why this has come up is recently I had a couple of conversations with two people that I care about, and we were talking about the hard topic of suicide. And for those of you who don't know, September is Suicide Awareness Month. And, you know, I don't know the statistics about whether or not suicide has increased or decreased or stayed the same during the pandemic. But my guess is that because we are all having a hard time dealing with what we're going through with being isolated, that our mental health is going to take a toll. And there's going to be moments where we don't feel like we might be able to deal with hard things. Maybe we've lost our job. Maybe we are really taking it hard when we're not able to be around people that we really care about. And suicide is one of those things that people just don't want to talk about. And mental health is something that we don't want to talk about. But the reality is that it exists. And depending on our level of mental awareness, of our emotional intelligence, of all of the things that make us strong individuals mentally, we may suffer, and we may find the road that we're on really, really difficult to get back on the right road. And so, you know, talking about our mental health and suicide and things that are really, really hard to talk about, and those are hard to talk about even without a pandemic, but then you throw in a pandemic and it's even more difficult. So I thought I wanted to just give you a couple of bits of advice if you're struggling mentally, and keep everybody focused on what is yet to be. Now, we don't know what that looks like yet. None of us do, right? We may think that what we decided to do last week is really going to work this week, and maybe it doesn't. So there are 3 things that I wanted to tell you about as it relates to keeping your mindset strong, keeping your mental health really, really as a focus point of something that you are intentional about, and really focus on well-being, mental well-being. So the first thing that I want to give to you in terms of advice, is that I want you to think about whatever place you're in, is that this place is temporary. I know it might feel like this pandemic is going to go on forever, and it probably already feels like it has. But I want to remind you that everything changes. Things change all the time. One of our difficult moments of getting in touch with our mindset and that accepting that things are temporary is that we don't know when they end. No matter where we are in the middle of that storm, we don't know where it ends. And so we struggle with that. So I want you to remember that even this, whatever moment you're in, is temporary. So that's number 1, temporary. Number 2, I want you to remember that you have the ability to control what you think. You can decide. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, I'm saying you have the ability to control what you think. You can decide that, hey, you know what, I'm going to think positive thoughts. I'm going to focus on what I do have and be grateful instead of what I don't have, and really think about why those things matter. Okay, so when you have the ability to focus your thoughts on good things or bad things, I'm going to encourage you to think about the good things. Okay, I know it's easier said than done sometimes. I've been there too. Okay, so that's number 2, is control what you think. All right, number 3, and this is probably the most important. When we are not able to control what we think, and hi Cindy, so great to see you. I missed you. I really want us to remember number 3 is to do whatever we can to stay connected to those people that we care about most. Those people that add to our psychological being. Those people that say, hey, you know what? I feel better when I talk to you. And even if it means that you have to meet somebody in a parking lot, down the street from Scooters or whatever it is, understand that social distance is important. But being in the presence of someone, even though it's not what we want, is going to do incredible things for our psyche, for our mental health. So that means we have to be creative. And it means that we have to find different ways, whether it's a phone call, a text, a FaceTime, like I said, meeting somebody in person that you're socially distanced from. Find ways to make sure that you are adding to your psychological well-being. Make sure that your mental health is a priority, because the longer we stay isolated, the longer we stay in our homes, the longer that we are working and teaching from our homes, the worse it's going to get. And I hate to say that, but we have to be really intentional about what are we thinking, who we're spending our time with, and we have to accept that things are temporary. That is always going to be different. Hey, Rod. So those are my big things about today. And remember that if you are feeling that you are just not in a good place because you want to do some harm to yourself, or you're contemplating suicide, not because I want that to happen, but certainly make sure that you're reaching out to the people that can help you. I know there's a suicide awareness hotline. I don't remember the number, but mental health is really, really important. And we don't talk about it enough, but because of the last conversations that I've had with a couple of people over the last few weeks, suicide is certainly one of those things that has come up. And I know life right now feels really overwhelming, and we're not quite sure how to navigate these uncharted territories. So do what you need to do. Hi, Wamael. So good to see you again. And so those are the 3 takeaways I want everybody to take away from this week's Sunday story. It's not positive. It's not encouraging. It's not one of those messages that I normally give to you, but I want you to understand that I am always thinking about how our mental health is being impacted by being isolated and quarantined, and it's not what we want. It's not what we're supposed to be. So we have to be intentional and make deliberate choices that help ourselves. And when we are in a good place, make sure that you're reaching out to people that might not be in a good place, because that's what they need. We've all been there. We've all had tough days. We all think things are going to go on forever. That is my plea. Take care of each other. Make sure that you tell people that you are feeling down or you're not feeling your best. I know that's not easier. It's easier said than done. But that's this week's message. So I appreciate everybody for coming on and listening. I love that you guys are here. And for those of you who don't know, typically at noon every Sunday, I have some kind of a story to share with you. So enjoy the day. Remember to take care of yourselves. And remember, this is temporary. You have control over what you think. And 3, do whatever you can to add to your social well-being and your mental health. It's all a good thing. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.